What if I told you that August 12th could decide how much more you get in Social Security benefits next year? That's not just a headline, it's reality. This specific date marks the release of the first inflation data that will be locked into the COLA calculation. Whether you're retired, on SSDI, getting survivor benefits, SSI, or VA assistance, this one report kicks off the 3-month period that determines your next raise. And in a time when inflation is driving up prices across the board, every decimal point in that report matters. In this video, we're going to unpack why August 12th is such a big deal, what CPI-W is and why it's different from the general CPI, how tariffs and rising costs are influencing the COLA outlook, and what history tells us about where your benefits may be headed. If you rely on Social Security to make ends meet, or know someone who does, this is a conversation you cannot afford to miss. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to Social Security Post so you're always in the loop when your money is on the line. August 12th is the release date for July's CPI-W inflation report, which marks the beginning of the COLA calculation period for 2025. This report is not just another economic update. It's the first of 3 official data points that determine how much your Social Security benefits will increase in January. If you're receiving retirement, disability, SSDI, survivor, spousal, SSI, VA, or RRB benefits, this number affects you directly. It's the foundational piece of the formula used by the Social Security Administration to determine how much more, or how little, you'll get in the new year. The COLA isn't arbitrary. It's based on a clear 3-month calculation from July through September using the CPI-W. So the data released on August 12th is locked into the final raise amount. It can't be adjusted later. It's essential to understand that this first report will set the tone. If inflation is high, you're looking at a stronger raise. If it's lower than expected, that could pull down the entire COLA projection. That's why August 12th is the first critical date in a short window that has massive financial implications. While most people hear about the Consumer Price Index, CPI, on the news, Social Security benefits aren't based on that. Instead, they use CPIW, which stands for the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. This inflation index focuses specifically on the expenses of working-class Americans, things like food, transportation, utilities, and medical care. And because many of these items hit fixed-income seniors the hardest, CPIW gives a more accurate picture of how much costs have increased for Social Security recipients. Understanding the distinction is crucial. CPIW can sometimes show sharper changes than the general CPI, which includes data from all urban consumers regardless of income or occupation. That's why even if the media says inflation is cooling down, CPIW might still reflect significant cost increases, especially in essentials like groceries and prescriptions. If CPIW goes up, your benefits go up. And that's why the August 12th CPIW number matters far more than what mainstream headlines say about inflation. Social Security doesn't base your annual raise on a full year of inflation data. It only looks at 3 months, July, August, and September. These months are not chosen randomly. Historically, they reflect some of the most stable yet significant inflation trends of the year. That's why July's CPIW data, released on August 12th, becomes a permanent part of the COLA formula. And it's not a test run. Once that number is published, it's in the books. This means we've officially entered the COLA calculation window. Every price movement in these 3 months, whether it's gas going up a few cents, food getting more expensive, or healthcare premiums shifting, plays into your raise. And the July data isn't just a preview, it's a third of the entire equation. That's why so much weight is placed on this first report. If July comes in hot with rising prices, it gives us a solid starting point for a meaningful benefit increase in 2025. Earlier this year, the U.S. saw significant policy shifts on tariffs, specifically on goods imported from key countries like China. These tariffs caused a domino effect, higher costs for businesses, which were then passed on to consumers. Suddenly, the cost of everyday items, like appliances, electronics, clothing, and even groceries, began to rise. And when prices rise broadly across sectors, inflation spikes. This is exactly what CPIW measures, and it's why tariffs matter directly to your benefits. If you're wondering whether those price hikes were just temporary, the answer is no. Many economists say we're still feeling the effects. For Social Security beneficiaries, though, there's a silver lining. Higher prices push up CPIW, which increases the COLA. So while inflation is painful in the short term, it may result in a larger benefit adjustment come January, especially if July, August, and September inflation remains elevated. Just a few months ago, COLA projections were downright depressing. Some estimates suggested raises as low as 1.8% to 2.2%, which would barely keep pace with real-world costs. But then came the tariff announcements, corporate price hikes, and stronger-than-expected economic activity, all of which pushed inflation back up. Recent projections now suggest a COLA as high as 2.6% or more, and some even believe we could surpass last year's 3.2% increase. These numbers matter. For someone receiving $1,700 per month, a 2% raise is about $34 more per month, or just over $400 per year. But a 3.2% raise is over $600 more per year, which can make a real difference in covering medicine, rent, or utility bills. That's why watching how projections change month by month is so important. They're not just charts and graphs, they're real changes to your fixed income. Many seniors already feel squeezed by high costs. Food, energy, housing, and healthcare continue to eat up a bigger chunk of monthly checks. And in this environment, the annual COLA becomes one of the only ways retirees and disabled individuals see their income go up. It's not a bonus, it's a lifeline. Even a small percentage point can help ease the pressure of mounting bills and unpredictable expenses. And what makes the COLA even more vital is its consistency. While Congress continues to debate benefit expansions or reforms, with little to no actual progress, the COLA happens automatically every year. There's no need for new laws or political negotiations. It's based on math. And in uncertain times, that kind of reliability is priceless. For millions, it's the only raise they can count on year after year. Every year, the months of July, August, and September hold the key to your next year's Social Security raise. That's it, just those 3 months. So if inflation is peaking during that time, it means you'll lock in a stronger COLA. But if prices start falling or stabilizing, it could flatten the increase you get in 2025. That's why this period is so closely watched by analysts, advocacy groups, and federal agencies alike. We're already seeing signs that July may have brought elevated inflation due to summer energy demands, global supply disruptions, and lingering effects from tariffs. If those trends continue into August and September, we could capture the highest point of inflation for the year right when it matters most. It's all about timing, and this year, the timing might work in your favor. You've probably heard Congress talk for years about reforming Social Security or increasing monthly benefits. They promise larger checks, expanded eligibility, and better protections. But so far, nothing concrete has happened. It's all talk, no action. And while Congress bickers, the COLA delivers year after year without needing a vote or a press conference. The COLA may not be perfect, it often doesn't fully keep up with true cost increases, but it's consistent. It shows up, it adjusts, and most importantly, it's based on real economic data, not political theater. That's why so many seniors view it as the most trustworthy part of the system. Lawmakers can propose all the ideas they want, but until they act, COLA is still the most dependable raise retirees will get. The same inflation data used to calculate the COLA also affects Medicare premiums. So while you might receive a benefit increase in January, there's a good chance some of that raise could be offset by rising Medicare Part B premiums. This is what makes understanding the broader context so important. It's not just about how much your benefit goes up, it's about how much you actually take home after deductions. If the inflation that raises your Social Security benefit also causes Medicare costs to rise, your net gain could be small or even neutral. That's why we always encourage people to look at the entire benefits picture, not just the headline COLA percentage. It's about how these programs work together. And August 12th is the start of the chain reaction that will shape both. We've now entered the most important stretch of the year for Social Security beneficiaries. Over the next 3 months, every inflation report will bring us closer to your official 2025 raise. It starts on August 12th, then continues with the next 2 reports in September and October. We'll be tracking each one and breaking it down for you, right here on Social Security Post. So don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to Social Security Post for more updates. Drop your questions about COLA, Medicare changes, or anything related to your benefits in the comments. We're here to explain it all in plain language. Until next time, stay informed and stay financially secure.